Okay.
Waters.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
O'Kane.
Here.
Shaner. Scott.
Here. Please stand for a moment of silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Katie Eicholt. Commendation reads, whereas Katie Eicholt has shown exemplary leadership, commitment, professionalism in the field of public works through her service to the city of Sioux City in the Iowa chapter of American Public Works Association, APWA. And whereas Katie was named the recipient of the APWA Iowa chapter's Young Leader of the Year Award, an honor recognizing her outstanding contributions of the chapter to the public works profession. And whereas Katie's dedication is further demonstrated by her graduation from APWA's prestigious Emerging Leaders Academy in 2023, and her consistent leadership is instrumental in the chapter's successful application for the Presidential's Acknowledgement for Chapter Excellence, an honor the chapter has received each of the past 4 years under her guidance. And whereas Katie's strong work ethic, professionalism, and ability to manage projects and address citizens' concerns has made her a valuable asset to both the city of Sioux City and the APWA community, while demonstrating her potential for continued leadership and service at the chapter and national levels. Now, therefore, I, Robert E. Scott, Mayor of the City of Sioux City, Iowa, on behalf of City Council, do hereby commend Katie Eicholt for her accomplishments. I'd like to present this to you, and you can say a few words.
Okay.
Thank you.
Woo! Thanks, Mayor Scott, for reading that whole thing. I'm sorry it was so long. Yeah, I appreciate the award and the combination, and I guess I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and hopefully make the city better.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks again.
Nick Davidson for interview for Effective Fiscal and Public Policy Committee. Come on up. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to serve.
My name is Nick Davidson, lifelong resident of Sioux City, 47 years. I've always had a passion for this city. We're a great city. I want to see us grow. I want to see us become better. That is why I do what I do out there, get involved. And I think being involved in more can help to bring us together better, help us grow. I feel this committee especially can help me, where I'll be able to learn more about the fiscal policies of the city, and I can help look at it and help the city with these policies.
Questions?
I got nothing.
No, these guys. Yeah. Any questions for Nick?
Appreciate your application, Nick. Thank you.
Thank you.
No doubt. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
your
guys.
passion.
All right, buddy. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank-
Introduce Tyler Doherty, Explore Siouxland Executive Director.
Good afternoon, City Manager, City staff, City Council members. Thank you for having me. My name is Tyler Doherty. I'm the Executive Director for Explore Siouxland. Have been with the organization since early September, and I'm very excited to be here. So I think this is a meet and greet. I'm happy to answer questions, but wanted to give you a quick background about myself. So I'm originally from Eastern Iowa, Dubuque, Iowa. I've been in the industry for close to 15 years. Was a college coach and stumbled upon this industry when I migrated back to Dubuque, Iowa. The position had sports in the title, zero idea what the heck a convention and visitors bureau was, but fell in love with the industry, and here we are 15 years later, and I'm in Sioux City. So we have the privilege to promote this wonderful community to to outsiders. We try to appeal to those who are 50 miles and out, bring them here, have them experience everything that we can share with them. We can do that via leisure travel, marketing, sales. That's the fun part of what we do. We're a young organization, just about 6 years old, so we've got a lot to accomplish yet, but I'm very excited to tackle that. So I welcome any questions that you have, and thank you again for having me.
You're from Dubuque originally?
Originally, yes.
And where did you coach and what did you coach?
I was the head men's and women's track and field coach and assistant basketball coach at Indiana University East, was a NAI Division II affiliate. Did that for 2 years, back in 2010 to 2012. Yep.
All right. Good luck.
All right.
Excited to have you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for having me.
Good to
Thanks a
have you
lot.
on board. Thanks.
We'll go to the consent agenda, which is items 3 through 12D. You can consider those items pass unanimously unless a separate roll call vote is requested by a council member. Anyone wanting to speak on that item should come up as I read it. If you want to speak on an item not on the agenda, please come up under citizen concerns. Remember to always state your name for the record. I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
3 is a reading of the October 8th and 13th city council minutes. 4 is a resolution accepting donations for July through September 2025. 5 is a resolution authorizing an IDOT federal aid agreement for a subsurface transportation block grant program in connection with the 11th Street reconstruction project. 6 is a resolution adopting plans and specs for the annual manhole rehabilitation project. 7 is a resolution awarding a purchase order to Sealer Instrument and Manufacturing for 5 Trimble Geo-Survey units, licenses, and warranties. 8 are actions relating to agreements and contracts. A is a resolution approving a development and minimum assessment agreement with Tri-State Real Estate Development for 615 and 25 Douglas Street and the adjacent alley. B is a resolution granting a permit to Imon Communications to maintain underground fiber on 28th Street adjacent to 2600 28th Street through 2805 Ruston Street. C is a resolution approving amendment number 1 to the consulting services agreement with McClure Engineering for the Nebraska Street Water Main Replacement Project. D is a resolution approving amendment number 2 to the consulting services agreement with McClure Engineering for the 8th Street Reconstruction Project. E is a resolution approving a 3-year subscription agreement with Gatekeeper Systems for the App 139 web-based software for the airport. 9 are actions authorizing payments. A is a resolution approving change order number 2 and authorizing payment to Steve Harris for the South Clinton Street and Lincoln Way Storm Sewer Repair Project. B is a resolution approving change order number 3 and authorizing payment to Subsurfco for the Gordon Drive Storm Sewer Repair Project. I need to abstain, conflict of interest. C is a resolution authorizing payment to T.R. Harris Construction for the South Glass Street Water Main and Pavement Replacement Project. D is a resolution approving September fund transfers. E is a motion approving September total expenses. 10 are actions relating to property. A is a resolution inviting proposals for the sale of land in the combined Floyd River Urban Renewal and Teton Urban Renewal area, announcing the intent to accept the proposal of William Amel III and scheduling a hearing. The portions of vacated Adams Avenue and vacated Lot 7 adjacent to 3298 Floyd Boulevard. B is a resolution inviting proposals for the sale of land in the Teton Urban Renewal area, announcing the intent to accept the proposal of Delilah Morales Galvez and Guillermo Demetrio and scheduling a public hearing. The vacated portions of Lot 6, 7, and adjacent to 3308 Floyd Boulevard. 11 are applications for alcohol licenses. 12 are boards, commission, and committee minutes. Anyone to be heard on any of those items? Passes 4-0. 13 is a hearing and resolution accepting the proposal of SkyWest Airlines for the lease of land in the Donner Park Urban Renewal Area and authorizing the lease of property at 2403 Aviation Boulevard. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 4-0. Downtown presentation by, or the presentation by the Downtown Partners.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Reagan Cody, Director of Downtown Partners. I will try and make this quick, as I understand people in this room are probably not here to see me. So I will make this quick if you want to put the presentation up on the board.
She's working on that from the back. Just a moment. Wrong one. That's your YouTube stream. There you go.
Okay, wanted to update you. We update you quarterly, so I do appreciate your time. We do have a new board of directors since I've met with you last. Our president right now is Brianna Eaton with Crary Huff Law Firm. Jeff Hansen, you're familiar with, McClure Engineering, is our vice president, and Nicole Berner is our treasurer. I would like to thank the board members who are in the room today for their support. We have some in the back, so thank you to them for coming today. Our financials is where I usually start, just to give you an idea of what we're dealing with. Our annual budget is $516,400. You'll see the nice pink and blue lines up there. You'll see our expenses are above our income. Since COVID, we had some reserve, so each year we plan to spend down pieces of that with different projects. At the bottom there, you'll see how we are detailing out our budget. 40% of what we do is all for downtown projects, 18 and 18, operating and business support. The rest is for marketing and events in downtown. Those are lower because a lot of what we are able to do comes with partnerships and people helping us do the things we do. Those monies, as I mentioned, being used for the betterment of some beautification efforts in downtown. The first of which is very popular is our storefront grants. This opened in the fall of 2018 and meant for the betterment and enhancement of our storefronts in downtown. We help with everything from signage, windows, safety and security cameras, lighting, dining, seating outdoors that we do encourage, anything with aesthetic upgrades. And in the last couple of years, we did add sidewalk improvements. Some of those sidewalks were getting tagged for work and repair. We try and help the property owners with that as well. We've helped 68 storefronts in the last 5 years. That has awarded from us $151,000, but overall they're embracing that a little bit more and putting more into the projects. So the projects themselves have been worth over $630,000 thanks to the storefront enhancements. The other big project we're going to be doing this March is in partnership with the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, the Kind World Foundation, and the support of the City of Sioux City. We've had several staff members helping kind of identify these areas. We've got 307 trees in downtown Sioux City. 87 of them right now are either damaged or they're missing a tree in the tree grate. So our goal with that money is to replace those that can be replaced and concrete over those that cannot, but replace those with planters. So those areas have been identified and the funding has been identified, so everything's good to go for March planting. We're trying to get them in the fall, but unfortunately things didn't come together in time, so we will be doing them in March, in the spring. Things have been going very well on social media. Over the last year to date, we did January through October for 2024 and 2025. Impressions, engagements, post-click links, everything that you want to see in your reporting is all going up with great numbers this year. We've seen a lot of positive feedback. The top post so far of 2025 is when we welcome Pureform Reformer Studio, the Pilates studio downtown. That required a lot of work on their part, but all do a beautiful space. So if you get a chance to view that, I would encourage you to go down there. The other thing that responded very well on social media is our AI training. We noticed a lot of businesses, and us personally in the office, how we use AI and how we are able to utilize it for getting more work done and better. So we resourced out with Chatterkick to do some training, and we got sponsorship through Security National Bank, and Mark Hines and his team were able to help us hold 2 sessions. Each session had over 50 attendees, learning quite a bit about AI and how to use that in the workplace and to better their business, to make things more efficient. So a lot of positive feedback. We're going to continue holding another one actually in November, so more to come on that. This one usually hits right around the holidays, so there's a lot going on. Just to keep you up to date, the QR code there will help you stay up to date with what we've got going on. But downtown for the holidays, the Holiday Lighted Parade, sponsored by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, is taking place on Monday, November 24th at 6:15 p.m. This, in addition to last year, we have an accessible viewing area courtesy of the Sioux City Convention Center, where children who may be overstimulated or unable to actually go to a lot of parades are able to do so inside and have a sensory area to help them with that. At 3 o'clock that day, a lot of downtown businesses open up for kids to do things after school and before the holidays and kind of burn off some energy before they go out and get the candy. But at the end of the parade, Santa normally lights the tree outside of the museum. And this year, kids will get to visit him after the parade at the Art Sucks building, which is at 515 4th Street. So right down the road, so it's really close to the tree. Festival of Trees also takes place in the Ho-Chunk Center. And then over the rest of the holiday season, the horse storefront decorating contest, is taking place again. However, we have had a contribution by RE/MAX Experience, so we're upping that to $1,000 for the winning storefront, and that will go to a nonprofit of their choice. So we encourage the public to vote during that time and during the holiday season on which storefronts they prefer, and that $1,000 will be given to the nonprofit. New this year, and generally new to Siouxland, is a place for kids to take their letters to Santa. We are working with State Steel donated some metal for us, and the Career Academy, the Sioux City Community Schools, will be building Santa's mailbox this year for us. It'll be ready November 1st. It'll be in the Art Sucks building this year for kids to drop off their letters to Santa. On November 8th and December 6th, they will offer cookie decorating and place to write the letters and things like that for the kids to get involved this holiday. We will, of course, be giving away things for the first 12 days of December for the 12 days of giveaways. And as always, we encourage everyone to shop small, not only in downtown, but in our community. It stays in Siouxland. So Small Business Saturday is on the 29th of November. And that is all I have for you today. Do you have any questions?
Appreciate all that you do.
Thank you.
Downtown Partners, they're very active and they've done a lot of positive things in the past several years. So thank you for that. Just try to keep it up and try to keep the money flow coming in. That's great that you have partners that will engage in different projects with you.
Agreed. Very grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, we have a lot of great ones on the horizon as well that I'm pretty excited for. I've always been a big fan of improving our green space or adding different trees and different things that we can downtown to improve the canopy. And I know that we've struggled, whether it's with utilities or otherwise underneath. So hopefully the way that we're going about it now, and I know you've worked extensively with Parks and Recreation, that hopefully we'll be able to improve that, because I think it adds to the overall atmosphere of a downtown when you can have some of that green space, not only for the people living there, but also shopping. And so I appreciate that, and looking forward to the cycle track and a lot of other ones that are on their way too. So thanks
Agreed.
for all the efforts.
Thank you. Maintenance is key, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Citizen concerns. Any citizen want to be heard, please come to the microphone and state your name for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Jody Merkel. I am coming to you as a long-term resident, taxpayer. I'm exhausted. I'm tired of everything that's been going on in our neighborhood, and I assume that's why we have representation here from the police department. What began as an isolated disturbances has escalated into sustained public safety crisis that's now persisted over 18 months. Despite repeated police involvement, neighborhood reports, and community meetings. This property is within the school zones of East Middle and Sunnyside Elementary, where countless children used to walk daily
unaware of the dangers that they were passing. We even have photos of a person from that house walking down to the corner in broad daylight conducting a drug deal in front of soccer practice at East Middle School. The homeowner, Stephen Starks, is currently jailed with bonds revoked and facing approximately 8 to 9 felony charges tied to methamphetamine and fentanyl trafficking, as well as felony weapons charges. Yet even with his incarceration, this home remains a revolving door of drug activity, stolen property, and violence, most recently an attempted murder where the suspect is seen on video running through my front yard just feet away from my children were sleeping. The suspect was back living at the property within approximately 1 day. The victim refused to cooperate, so there was some delay in his arrest. We as neighbors have shared hundreds of photos of the activity from his residence with the Sioux City Police Department, and they have done everything in their power since July of 2024. And we are very grateful for everything they've done. My request is that you consider using the Sioux City Municipal Code 8.8, where a specified crime property means any structure or part of a structure in which activity involving the unauthorized delivery or manufacture of a controlled substance is occurring. The code goes on to state, when the chief of police has a reasonable belief that a structure is being used or maintained in violation of this chapter, he shall notify the owner of record in writing that the structure will be declared a specified crime property. I personally have inquired about obtaining this designation on at least 3 different occasions. In April, I called and asked to speak to Chief Mueller, left a message. Jeremy McClure called me back. I asked about this designation, and he said they were working on a plan. In May, I had a similar conversation with Captain Chris Groves. In June, a group of us met with Sergeant Yaniff and Detective Neely's team at the police station. Oddly enough, just a few days ago, police chief told another neighbor that he had no idea that what his police officers and detectives had been doing in our neighborhood to try to abate this problem. Each time I spoke to someone, I've been told that the municipal code is only applicable to rental properties. This is in direct conflict with the way the language of the code is written. A quick internet search today showed that our once safe and peaceful neighborhood and block has a higher crime rate than 41% of the similar blocks in Woodbury County and a higher crime rate than 51% of the blocks nationwide. I'm urging you to all coordinate with city legal services as well as with the police department to bring this public danger to a decisive and permanent resolution as soon as possible. I do have supporting documentation that's an extremely abbreviated timeline with photos of what we've had to deal with for the last 18 months, if anybody's interested in having a copy.
Well,
thank you.
I can only tell you that maybe I should have known this sooner, but I didn't know it sooner. And we met last Friday with the chief and the city legal department, the city manager, and I guess I would like you guys to give an update. Nicole, you're looking at an ordinance that will strengthen what actually is the ordinance to make sure we can do what you're proposing.
And if that ordinance isn't applicable, I think we need to look at strengthening.
That's what I can have Nicole
those
explain.
type of things.
So go ahead, you go first, Nicole.
Sure. There are a couple of different options that we're looking at. The city is able to write citations for municipal infractions or simple misdemeanors. So we have the lower level type of crimes, if you will, the things that we're charged with under the state code for enforcing. So we're looking at what options we do have, whether it's abating a nuisance or declaring a specified crime property. I will tell you we're also meeting with the county attorney. I know that you had reached out to Mr. Loomis as well. And so those meetings are taking place to see if there's anything additional in addition to the arrests that the police department has made over the last 18 months or so. And the
there's
chief
been
may
a
have
lot of
additional
arrests,
updates.
and the police are doing everything they can, but the problem is they get out with a very low bail amount, and they come right back and they do it again. And like I said, he has 8 to 9 felony charges pending. The first of those charges came in December, and he hasn't had a trial for that yet because his case still gets continued. So, and that's the case with all of them. The public defenders will file a continuation and they get granted. So I appreciate it.
Go ahead, Chief.
Thanks.
Well, first of all, I appreciate the residents coming. I was not aware of the extent to which the district officers, special investigations, detectives had been working on this location. So after the stabbing occurred, I was actually very gratified to know that they had been as proactive as we can be. Now, since I think it was September of 23, there have been 30 calls for service to that residence. 20 were generated from the residents. So the majority of the calls for service came from people at that or occupying or around that residence that called us. The rest were neighbors. But in looking at it, officers have dealt very strongly with anything where they could take an enforcement action. They did. In fact, as of about an hour and a half ago, Captain Bertrand just relayed to me that 2 arrests were made in relation to the stabbing. Even though that was an uncooperative victim, 2 individuals were arrested, a suspect for being directly involved in the stabbing and another for taking action to cover it up. This is not anything that we take lightly. Clearly, any issue that impacts a neighborhood is going to be treated as a neighborhood problem at a community policing project. And that's the way the officers did it. They embraced it. They communicated well. Again, when the stabbing occurred, I wasn't aware of the length of time this had been an issue, but again, I was happy to understand that the officers had done exactly what we asked them to do. They were collaborating, they were communicating, they had a neighborhood meeting at the station to discuss options, what the department would be doing, the limitations of our authority in some of these instances. And as the city attorney mentioned, we'll be meeting with the county attorney and city attorney's officials tomorrow to see what our options are as far as specified crime property. That, in general, has been utilized by this department to deal with renters, not as much as owners. We've had similar circumstances throughout the city that were a little bit more challenging because somebody that owns a property has more rights, seemingly, than an individual who is just a renter, and you have some more options for dealing with a landlord or a renter in those instances. So hopefully that specified prime property ordinance can be used effectively in this case. But again, very proud of the work that the officers are doing. I think they've been creative. I think they've been proactive since the stabbing. Our officers have spent specific time in that neighborhood talking to residents, working to be a visible presence, to basically ease everybody's mind that we are there to help them. I understand there'll probably be some more folks coming tonight to address it. We're certainly here to listen. Brought some members of my command staff that might have a little bit more information on some of these things, and I'm happy to answer questions as they come up.
Okay. Anyone else to be heard? On any matter, not just this matter, but...
Well, I guess before you go then, Paula, I just wanted to address, and I didn't catch your name, so I apologize, but I just wanted to at least say to you and to any of the neighbors that are here that this would be extraordinarily frustrating. And I can't imagine living in a neighborhood, having that home, knowing that that was happening, knowing that the police were endlessly there, not only keeping you awake, but also keeping you frightened, of what would be happening. And I wouldn't want that to go on in any neighborhood in our community, period. And I appreciate you acknowledging the work that the police department is doing. I do think that they go above and beyond in these situations and try to do and be as creative and use all the mechanisms that they can. And I appreciate that it's now been at least elevated to hopefully be able to invoke some type of code, or at least adapting what we can do to make an enforceable mechanism so that it doesn't continue to happen. Because if you know that something is a problem and it just is continuing to be that problem because of the setup of that, I mean, there's only so much you can do besides parking a squad out there 24/7. And I don't think either of us want that. I mean, we don't want to have our officers doing that, but then again, it's like, how would that make you feel safe in that neighborhood? And so, ironically, it might make you feel safe for that time being, but that's not a neighborhood that you would want to live in, and so, or raise a family in. And so I appreciate you being here and voicing that, and at least coming here and sharing that. I had not heard extensively of where we were at with this or what the level it had gotten to, and so I apologize for my ignorance to that. I don't think that I missed any emails, but if I had, I do apologize. But I'm glad to know that the chief and city staff are on top of it, and hopefully we can come up with some solutions, because no one should have to go through that for that extensive period of time, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would echo, I'm sorry. If I missed something going on, I guess I apologize, but I had a meeting Friday morning right away. The staff was very willing to look at different things, and over the weekend, the young attorney that does a lot of that type of drafted when I just got it. I haven't even had a chance to open it. I got it at the meeting, so we're going to look into the matter, and as I told the chief and Nicole, I don't really care if we can write citations, and sooner or later we'll catch the attention. So I want you to know that we don't have an ironclad solution today, but I think it's a higher priority today than what it was maybe a couple weeks ago. So we'd welcome your input. You can email us on the city council website if you see something you don't think we're addressing correctly. So, okay? Thank you. All right.
Paul.
Will Cortez, I'm one of the residents on that block, Myers Avenue. You said parking a patrol car out there would kind of be negative for the neighborhood, but actually I'd be open to it if it chased these people out of here, and I think our neighbors would be too. One point from Joey that I want to reiterate is that we have dozens of kids walking through that neighborhood from surrounding schools. I think you guys will do your best to find a solution, but I just want to reiterate that point. Dozens of kids that walk through this neighborhood with drug maniacs is what they are, basically what they are, unpredictable. And these are our kids.
Is that mostly when the kids are walking, is that to and from a bus stop or school?
To and from a bus stop, from school. You got elementary schools, middle schools, and high school there. These kids are vulnerable.
And I'm just trying to think, like, for our police force, we don't have the resources to do that. I was saying that would maybe help alleviate some concern. We probably don't have the resources to be able to do that, but at least if we know the time of day, at least then maybe it can make some people feel
school times
safe.
in the mornings, 8:30, 3:30.
I understand.
Maybe a little bit more of a pronounced presence. I just don't want any of these kids getting hurt, including my own.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not intended. You read stories about that all the time of people in the wrong place at the wrong time, and we certainly don't want any kids to be in that situation either.
So I just wanted to reiterate that point. Thank you.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you.
Chris Groves, Captain of the Sioux City Police Department, Uniform Services. For those that are here, I will, and I've said this to Jody in the conversation, we obviously do have empathy, and I know that doesn't go far. We understand that the frustrations you deal with. And again, I'm not minimizing your frustrations, but I will add, we're frustrated as well. A lot of what you are dealing with the revolving door of criminals going in and out of jail, we get frustrated with that as well. It's not something we want. It's unfortunately things that we have to deal with. We will continue to come there and do what we have to do to deal with the problem. We will get to the bottom of it. All I can ask you is to continue to call us and communicate. I know you have direct phone numbers to some of our SIU members or undercover officers to communicate directly with them, and we will continue to do what we can, legally do what we can do. We talk about, we wish the thing would just go away. We all wish that, but there are legal boundaries that we have to follow and stay within in order to accomplish that. We did, when everything kind of started to blow up on social media, we will take some ownership on a little bit. We didn't put a lot out in the media with the stabbing. There wasn't a lot to release other than a bad or a horrific picture, and that we knew that would add some fear. Looking back at it, should we have released it sooner? Sure, we should have. We knew we had an uncooperative victim. We had somebody who wasn't telling us a lot at the time. it was a phone call, and I don't know exactly where the phone call originally was, Jody or not, actually got us to the neighborhood of 27. When we first found the victim, we didn't know where this even happened. It was kind of unclear. A phone call came in, at least got us to that neighborhood. Once we got to that neighborhood, things kind of started to fall together, but the victim was uncooperative. The people had taken off. I think we made an arrest out of that house that morning for unrelated crimes. But we did, again, I started to say when the social media started to blow up, we did have officers go out there at the end of the school year, or the school time. And I think a lot of people did see those cars, and it was just to hopefully kind of settle some of that. Is that something that we can continue to do every day? Probably not. But we will do it occasionally. We will do it just to hopefully show that we are not going to give up on this neighborhood. We're not going to give up on that address, and we will do everything we can to get it back to a spot where you can feel confident and feel safe. As Jody knows, my wife grew up 2 blocks down the street from that, so I know the neighborhood very well. It's a great neighborhood, so we will not give up on it, and I will assure you that we'll do everything we can to help with it. So just keep communicating with us, and we'll do what we can.
Captain. Anyone else? Okay.
Paul Koskovich. We got an email from Renee on Wednesday about the Marks property at 2400 3rd Street, and specifically regarding the tax abatement that you guys offered us. And I'm just curious. It appears that we're starting to elevate the incentive packages that you guys offer. I followed up immediately with Julie because I was very upset. She told me that she lobbied for the 100% abatement, but was not. Apparently, some of you guys disagreed. So I'd like to hear why.
I'll tell you why. I've never voted for more than 75% tax abatement that I can recall, maybe for a large industry outside of the downtown core. I've been very consistent on that, and I haven't changed.
And Paul, I appreciate you being here, and you can always text me or call me too if you want an explanation not here, but I'm happy to give it to you. Because I did talk to Julie at length, all the way late at night, early in the morning, just trying to talk through. I'm somewhat with the mayor. It would be my hope that we would never have to utilize 100% tax incentive or tax rebate incentive, because then the city doesn't have any scratch coming back in or any amount coming back in throughout the length of that time. Now, I do understand that oftentimes you're improving a property, and so we will recoup that, especially at the end of that time period. So, and we weren't recouping that much before, so maybe that's the only leverage that we have to be able to give developers. I think that's a sound argument that I would want to know more about, like how often, the number of projects, what type of projects we've done that with. I talked to city staff and I got that list of what that looks like. And one of the things that I would point out to you, and it's kind of perfect that you would come here tonight to talk about it, because we awarded one tonight with 100% for 7 years. And I'm sure that's not lost on you. And so I just want to tell you why I see them as being apples to oranges. Because if you look at your property, look, I texted you about that property before I even knew what it was going to be, and told you that it looks phenomenal and that I thought you're doing a great job. I don't know if you remember that, because now it seems like it's been a long time ago, but I told you that I thought what you were doing looked amazing. And I think it's continued to get even better. You've improved the site. You improved the building. You did all of those things similar to what a facade program would do, but you took it to another level, and I greatly appreciate that. Now, that doesn't necessarily improve any tax amount or taxable amount on the property. I know you've worked with staff on trying to make sure that it's out of the floodplain and that some of those other larger investments are made to get it to the assessed value. Because my understanding was the original assessment or assessed target assessment was 1.5 or something like that, and we're closer to 1.3 or somewhere. And so it was a matter of, well, if we're not getting all of that back, do you adjust it? If we're not making all the improvements we thought, is it? And so I had to kind of weigh that project versus now looking at Mr. Nelson's project downtown, where we did award 100% for 7 years. And in my mind, and should you be elected to city council, you'll be in the same position I am, is the dilemma of you vastly improved your property for you and your business. It looks great. Is it going to generate a lot more value for the city? Probably not. But I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying, like, does it increase value coming back to the city to taxpayers? And the answer is no. But what I would say then is then you look at Mr. Nelson's project, which is downtown. It's taking an abandoned building and turning it into 18 apartments that will then pay tax, and having commercial, a new business on the main floor that is not in our community, that's going to generate tax, and it's adding to adjacent properties there by them being able to utilize, and they coordinated with Pearl Street Park and some of those different areas. And so those two projects are so different in my mind. Now, do I still want Mr. Nelson to get 100%? I have a really hard time with that. I don't. But if that's the only economic development, like, leverage or one of the main levers that we have, then I guess, yeah, if we need to incentivize some of those things, I want to make sure those projects happen. But I'm telling you, man, I thought a lot about it. Julie and I talked a lot about it. I'm just trying to explain my train of thought, at least. And I'm sorry, because to a developer, I'm sure that difference was significant, and for what it would cost the city, maybe not, you wouldn't see it as being significant on our end. But at the end, I have to try to have some principle behind it. Like, I have to have some North Star, some moral compass of why I'm doing those things.
Before I respond, Dan or Matthew, do you guys have any response?
Yeah, let me just say that this is going to be on the agenda in a week or two. That's really the time to talk about it, or you can privately, I don't care if they answer.
I don't like to privately because, to be honest with you, Bob, some people don't respond.
Oh, well.
So here we are.
Okay, fine. Go ahead, Matthew.
I've never received an email from you that I haven't responded
Sure
to.
you have. You hit reply all on the Sioux City site, and it goes to every single council member. I'll send you one.
I've never gotten an email from you that I have not responded to. I will tell you that what we were told is that you were unresponsive with staff with regards to some of the requests that they made. The amount that you intended to invest was far greater than what was actually invested. And although all of that, I said, I think that there's some room to negotiate this. I didn't say, no, knock it all down, because I don't believe in that. I believe that you're here, you're in Sioux City, and you want to invest in Sioux City, and I think that's appropriate. I think 100%, that should always be an exception. I don't like that, because just like what Alex said, all that's doing is that's choking our city's growth. If it's something that's truly adding to the value, or it's bringing people here, or it's spurring industry, then absolutely. I think that there's room to have that conversation, and I think it's important for us to want to be able to negotiate with you as well, because we want to encourage you to continue to invest. I live in the Crescent Park neighborhood. I'm still sitting next to Crescent Park School, which has been entirely gutted, and it's still just sitting there. I want to see those projects go through. I want to see something happen to them. Right now, they're just a target for people to break windows. And that just is bad for our whole city. We don't want to see that happen. So I am all for going to the table, and I conveyed that to Julie. And Julie had said that she had a conversation with you about you coming to the table and having a conversation specifically with her. And I hope that happened. I'm not sure if that happened because I haven't followed up with her, to be honest with you. But I think that needs to continue to be a conversation between city staff, between us, and between you to figure out where that line is and where we can negotiate.
Thanks.
For me, I had asked Renee, and she provided it. In fact, that's what I was looking for. I haven't had time to review the long list. When I was contacted. Something didn't sound right, didn't seem right, and I just wanted to check it out. So I did get a list of the projects we've had in the past. I haven't had time to not only review it, but I can't remember if it was on my text messaging or if it's in my city email. But I will review that before the item comes back.
Thanks for your guys' response. A couple things. Number one, to respond to what you said, Matthew, so we're bringing our 1.5-year-old company from South Dakota to Sioux City, Iowa, right? Usually it's going the other way, right? We're bringing 33 employees to this city. So we are bringing employees, right? You said, bringing people to the town. We are. 33 employees, South Dakota, are now coming to Sioux City, number one. Number two, I'm glad you brought up Steve's project, Alex. I'm a huge Steve fan. I work for Steve every day, and I talked to Steve about this morning because I didn't want to cause a problem between the two of us. Yeah. What I think is being misled here, or misunderstanding in my opinion, is, first of all, I consider the Marks building is downtown. I don't know how that's not downtown, first of all. That is downtown. I mean, we've got tons of compliments from the public, nonstop, people that I don't even know saying, man, this place looks amazing. And my issue here is with Steve's building is I think that it's not the story that's not being told, right? And I checked this with Renee. I was talking about this morning. Is so just to clarify, so we get the story straight, right? So the city bought that building from HCI for $250, right? Then the city borrowed Lamb Theater $350. That never came about, so the city forgave that loan. So now we're into that building for $600. By the way, it was bringing in $12,000 a year in taxes before the city got it, so it's off the tax books right now. So now we're into this building for $600,000. The city is, right? The taxpayer, I should say. Then the taxpayer is paying Hebert to knock it down, right? And what was that? A couple $100,000, I think. So now we're in it for $800,000, right? So not only is the taxpayer into this for $800,000, now we're going to sell it to Steve for $1. Okay, the taxpayer is. Okay. And then the taxpayer is going to say, hey, Steve, we're going to give them 100% tax abatement now for 7 years. So the part of the story I gathered from you, Alex, was that the city needs tax revenue coming in. But we just completely ignored the fact that we spent over $800,000 of taxpayer money and now are just gifting this land that some of this council thinks is extremely valuable, that, downtown is where it's at, and we're giving it to Steve for free, $1, and then on top of that, giving this extremely lucrative abatement that we only give to downtown. That just doesn't smell right. We have a housing tax abatement, right, in this town. It's up for renewal soon, right? It's been around for a long time. It's a very successful program. That program doesn't say it only applies in downtown. It doesn't say it only applies on the north side, the west side, Morningside. It is all-inclusive no matter where you are, because we need growth in this town. And my issue is what I'm asking for is some sort of consistency, and I don't think it's there, especially when it comes to Ben and I's projects. I've said it, and I'm going to stick with it because, again, you brought it up. But the fact is, guys, other cities that are growing substantially faster than Sioux City are handing out 100% 10-year abatements. So, and they are financially growing, stable, and not having tax issues we are. So if those cities are capable or offering these incentives, why, as a developer, do I want to work in Sioux City when I can get a much better incentive package up the road? I mean, it's not just about me. It's other developers that are looking at Sioux City or building in Lamar's, or Sioux City and building in Orange City. I'm not even talking about Sioux Falls and Omaha. I'm talking about the cities that are extremely smaller than us and within 30 or 50 miles of here, and they're growing faster than us. Why are we so strong-willed, so dead set on only downtown is all we really want to push development? There's other parts of this city. Let's find it. Guys, there's other stuff besides downtown. And honestly, I have no interest in working downtown until this homeless problem is taken care of. And there is a ton of people, obviously, that feel the same way. But for whatever reason, this council...
You've gone way over 3 minutes, so you can come... No, you can come back
Bob, you didn't get out the timer when Jody got up and talked?
She didn't talk, I timed her. She stayed under 3 minutes.
I looked at my clock. She started at 19 after, and she was still talking at 24.
She stayed under 3 minutes because I
man.
timed her.
Listen, it's easy to cut someone off. You don't want to hear what you're saying. All I'm saying is people obviously support what I said.
Heard that. Okay,
and there's other developments besides downtown, folks.
Okay.
There's the north side.
Okay.
And I don't want to work downtown until it's cleaned up.
Okay. Thank you.
I just want to know when we're going to.
Ask a question?
Yeah.
What are you doing to take care of homelessness in your city?
I'm running for city council.
Okay.
If that's not,
What are you doing with
if
your
that
time?
is
What are
not,
you doing with your time and your resources right now? Are you helping anybody that you see on the street? Have you volunteered for any programs? That's what we're going to do. Volunteer from your time.
I think the reactions of the people behind me support me and understand what I'm doing, what my partner's doing for this city every day. We work in this city and this city only. And as hard as it is, we still keep coming back for more. I don't know why.
That's good, but I hope you have some passion. We can't just stick them on buses, send them down the street.
Listen, I just brought it up because Joe Wanderscheid brought it up. That is a program that the city does offer. Okay, that's where that came from. When I did attend, what am I doing? I attended a thing over at a month ago at the Marriott that was put on by the chamber that invited business leaders in, invited people that wanted to talk about the homeless problem and what we could do. And that's where I learned about it. Joe Wanderscheid said there's a program here the city has where we give people that want to leave this town and go somewhere else funds to get on a bus and leave. That's what I said. If people want to misconstrue that that's no sympathy, no empathy, that's where I heard it from.
No, I'm glad that you're learning about it. That's why I asked the question. I didn't ask the question to be combatant about it. I volunteered some of my time on the warming shelter. And what I heard back, feedback that I heard from a lot of business owners was, all you're doing is enabling homeless people. And I came under fire for that, for volunteering my time for a nonprofit organization that helps with homeless people. You're educating yourself. I think that's important. I'm not being critical of you. I was asking a legitimate question. And I'm glad that you're doing that, because that's important. What we jump to often as a people when we hear about the problem of homelessness is a lack of compassion. People don't have compassion, and that irks me, because I'm a compassionate person. I'm a teacher. I look at those kids in the eyes every day, and I want what's best for them. I don't care if they rip up their homework assignment in front of me and say, I'm not doing this, this is stupid, I'm never going to need to know your subject, because I want what's best for them. And I just want to know that you want to find a solution that's going to be best for the people of Siouxland. That's important for me because you are running for city council. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. And I guess one last thing I'll say is this compassion and whatnot. I mean, I think a lot of people saw on social media, these meth heads and homeless people stole my skid loader yesterday off a job site. And by God, as soon as I got done dealing with the police department, I went door knocking yesterday to find out what people want. Yes, I don't have time, but I'm going to make time because this city needs me on city council. That's it, man. We got to fix a lot of problems here. And I'm just so upset that it's not even considered what Ben and I do for this town. We constantly spend millions and millions every year, and it's still not good enough for some of you folks.
But that's not fair.
It is the truth, man.
You've received hundreds of thousands of dollars in incentives for your projects. You can't argue that. You've benefited greatly from the same projects or programs that you're talking about.
We don't get the incentive packages others do. The Marks property, yes, it is.
I can't say it's not true. I'm not on economic development team. I don't make that decision. I don't negotiate those agreements. But I would say, for the most part, they are pretty comparable depending on the size, the scope, everything of the project. They look at that.
We got to stop looking at comparing to what this city has done in the past. Because look, it's not working.
I don't disagree.
Okay? This council needs to look beyond this place here and see what other cities, like I said, are doing up the road that are growing exponentially compared to us. Stop comparing what we've done in the past and actually get aggressive.
I agree.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Council concerns? Matthew?
None for me.
Alex?
No, the only thing I was going to share was one thing that I've been frustrated with, I've contacted police department. I actually talked to Crime Stoppers a few different times about different things, whether it was the graffiti or otherwise, because that's one thing that frustrates me greatly. I've worked with a couple of homeowners, property owners, trying to work on an ordinance, looking at whether it's UTVs or golf carts or things like that that could be used on city streets, whether we're talking like around a golf course area or different things. And I understand there are communities with those ordinances. I wouldn't be opposed necessarily to some of those if you had stipulations, because I mean, they're running rampant now all over the lakes area, and I'm not sure that's the answer either. But the mini bikes is quickly becoming something where I'm just like, I don't want to open Pandora's box towards any other type of vehicles on our city streets, because I'm seeing more and more of these mini bikes that are racing through stoplights, and if there's traffic, they just hop on the sidewalk and go through there and all through campus and all different kinds of places, and it's very frustrating. Yeah.
Sure, and I will say we have a draft ordinance that we just finished, and we sent it over to the police department to take a look at, I believe, just last week. So we're looking at bringing that forward because we have heard a lot of complaints regarding the mini bikes and traffic and the sidewalks, and so we've drafted one for the council to consider.
Because I think it will be difficult to enforce, like if they evade, but if, Lord help them if they do, and because none of them are safe, and it's just terrifying to watch them take off through intersections and just avoid all traffic laws. I don't want anyone to get hurt, but it's also like we need an enforcement mechanism, so I'm glad we're at least looking at that and hopefully can do something. Because it doesn't help the argument then that people want to be able to drive their golf cart to and from, or maybe in a neighborhood or a UTV or something on city streets. It's tough for me to see that light of day. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you, Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of things. I attended Saturday evening the NAACP Freedom Fund banquet. It was a record number of people that attended, and their guest speaker, Mr. James Carter, did an outstanding presentation that evening. It was really good, and we also presented a commendation. The following day was an educational day on BIPOC communities, and it was very worthwhile. James Carter spoke at that, as well as Lance Morgan, and it was a good experience. I'm excited about Siouxland Explorer. Thank you for sharing today and introducing yourself. I'm sorry to see you go, but I wish you the best as well with whatever you do. So thank you for that. And I thought the Downtown Partners presentation was really good. I also thought Jody Merkerl did a great job representing the neighborhood. It's time, and I appreciated what the police force had said about, they can only do what's within the legal bounds, but we can also look at what can be changed or what needs to be changed. But Jody, you did a really nice job, and bringing these materials was very helpful. So I'm glad all the council members and the mayor accepted those. So thank you for that. I think this is the 11th council meeting. 10 left, but I'm not counting. Actually, I'm dreading it. I just want all of you to know I've really, really have enjoyed serving the public, serving Sioux Cityans and the Siouxland area. And it was a difficult decision, and it's still difficult. And as I come near to the end of the year, it's becoming more difficult because it's the people. I moved here to Sioux City in 1977. And, at first I thought, what did I do? And I made the best decision ever because of the people that live here in Sioux City and the teamwork that they do. And what I've told, sometimes it's hard to listen to citizen concerns because they're real, but I'm a good listener, and I want to listen for this reason. I always encourage our citizens to come forth with any concerns that they have. once you all quit caring about our community, we're going to all be in trouble. Now, having said that, there are a number of people, my parents were this way, they said, you know, the city council's doing a great job and they're making tough decisions and we don't want to do it, but we can live with it. And so a lot of them don't have concerns, don't have issues. But the ones that do have, as Jody Merkerold has, it's a real issue. It's a real issue. And what all of you bring to the council and to the mayor are real concerns, and we address them accordingly. A lot of times I will listen, and sometimes I frustrate citizens because I need to process something, just like the gentleman that was at the podium earlier. I have a list of, I don't know how many, Renee, how many projects you sent me, but it was a good list, and I haven't studied that. I was thinking I had a little more time to do that, and I was working on other things. But I like to get the facts, and I really want to do what's best for our, always have and always will. Some of you that might forget, I contributed significantly, being on the Plan and Zoning Commission for about, I mean, it seemed like it was 20 years because we kept changing the makeup, so I never ran out of terms. But I was on the Plan and Zoning for many, many years and learned a lot. So it's difficult. I'm sorry I went on about that, Mayor, but it's just something that's just near and dear to my heart. That's all I have. I move we adjourn. Second.
Moore.
Aye.
O'Kane.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.